it's true. And same to watching The Wheel of Time, season 3, episode 6, The Shadow in the Night. I am so excited for this episode, but I'm so stressed. Like, my anxiety has genuinely been building all week after the ending of that last episode. I love all of these characters so much, but I'm so stressed for them, and there are 3 episodes left, and stress. So yes, a reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go.
Like that.
Her accent, how much she tried to hide who she was, and I feel horrendously sorry for this little girl. I don't feel the same empathy for the woman she became. I mean, obviously I do feel like what she's been through, but she has made choices since then that negate.
Just like screaming.
She, the one power manifest.
Give it here.
Oh, so was it when they tried to take the baby her power manifested? Which is fascinating. No one knows the girls and our neighbours. So she gave birth alone as well. And her rage makes it's fascinating that she didn't manifest her power for herself. It's just a baby. Is she gonna make her vow now as a little girl? Because that would definitely, if she turns to the dark now, that really puts things in a different light.
Leandrin. That's your name, right?
Did nothing to help her, didn't get her out of the situation. She had to do that herself. And
Would you like some help?
It does make things different. She didn't make, I was always assuming she'd made the vow as an adult, as like, you know, someone who was, I don't know, motivated for power or for what it could bring her. Whereas the idea that Shamiel, I mean, if we already knew he was a piece of crap, taking advantage of a terrified, traumatized little girl, what other choice was she going to make in this moment? I don't fault her for making the choice she did because A, how could she know any better? B, she was so freaking desperate. And C, the world had made her feel like, well, if the world's going to abuse me, I might as well abuse it right back. It doesn't still excuse the choices she's made since fully. Like, it doesn't mean, oh, it's totally okay that she's hurt people herself, because once she did get older, she knew better. Once she did make it to the White Tower and she saw another way to be, she had choices. And yes, those choices may well have got her killed. I don't know if I would be strong enough to make the decision to do the right thing, but still, I'm not like, woo, Leandrin, you're the best. But I am like, okay, I do have more empathy for you because you made this awful choice to go to the dark when you were in an incredibly vulnerable place, rather than when you were someone who just wanted more power for yourself. She's definitely a fascinating character, but I still can't support her. If she does more secret good stuff, I can like her. Like, because, you know, she kidnapped Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine, but then she undid Nynaeve's bonds because that made it all better. You know, like, she hasn't earned, like, my complete forgiveness, but I'm like, okay, interesting. I'm looking at you.
What are you doing in Tanchico?
Okay, so she's not getting the collar and stuff.
It's my home, mistress.
And what shall I do when I have her?
Kill her. Well, next time I visit your dreams, you'll wish you had.
One of her own sisters.
You have until tomorrow.
Leandrin is loyal to her own. What game is she playing?
More importantly, the collar. If any of them get to it before we do them, Rand. No. We'll find it.
I really hope you do.
Matt, you find a card game, start talking to people and see what you can find out. And Min, you use your visions.
Nynaeve and I will have.
I'm really happy to see this lot and to check in on them, but I need like how are Egwene doing? And you know, I need my conversation with Rand. Like, I don't read spoilers when I come across them, but I've not seen any spoilers. I don't read posts about the Wheel of Time in case they're spoilers. But in my scrolling, I did read 2 things where people were like, "Oh my God, Rand's cheating on Egwene. Oh, I fucking hate him. Oh, he was finally good for one episode, and now this." And I'm like, there's so much more nuance in this situation. It's not black and white like that. This situation, like, I am someone who has a very black and white view of cheating normally. Like, if Lan just started making out with some random person of the Aiel, I would be like, fuck you. Fuck you forever. I'm never going to see you the same. This is not that scenario. I talked about a lot in my previous reaction. Like, there is so much nuance and complication here. The manipulation and grooming by Lanfear, the mental health struggles Rand's going through. Also, people did point out in my comments, like, how much can he say no in these moments, especially in the dream world, like when she has so much power. There are so many nuanced things that I think people just find it very easy to be like, oh, Rand sucks, and I'm like, he doesn't. I love them all, and I will fight for them all. But so yeah, this is not related to this situation, but I think I meant to say that at the beginning of the reaction, but I was too excited to start and I forgot. I hate Pentica. Like, this is a terrible place. Of course, he's the one who's got all the fees.
You cannot hope to match the Shadow Soul intel around Riot.
She might need
But
to.
in your own dreams,
Oh.
that is what...
You've been hiding from me.
Oh, good. Being busy today, I'll
You're
be
afraid
here.
of me now. I'm sending a little surprise. Let him handle it.
Oh my god.
I know that's difficult for you.
What are you sending? But they are all like, no one can just say no to Lanny.
Where are we going?
Especially in the dream world.
I was looking for Egwene.
She's studying with the wise ones, learning about our people as you should.
To talk to Egwene, my darling. Or me. Like, I really would like to have a conversation with you. Help you sort some stuff out in that lovely head of yours.
Randall Thor! These are my squashes! You see how fat they get?
The best squashes I've ever seen.
You cannot touch it. You dishonor me, Randall Thor.
He's doing his best, child.
For dishonoring your G, you have my toe.
He's doing his best.
Will hurt.
She's like, I'm not letting you off the hook.
Could have used your help there.
You handled yourself well enough, Outlander. Well enough.
He's trying. You don't have to love what he represents, but he's trying. How on earth are the two rivers going to deal with the white cloaks?
I'm afraid she's in no shape to heal anyone.
Oh lord. Can one of the girls do it? I don't know how experienced they are. I think one of them channeled. I thought I heard a fucking whistle, man. You haunted me in season 1.
One.
Is that? Like, Matt reacted too. It sounds like Tom. Why are you in this lovely town, Tom?
For the grave is no
It's him, right?
to my... You left me for dead fighting a bloody fate.
Yes!
You
yes,
told
that
them
was
to go.
me, and
Kind of, maybe.
you're not dead.
Want nothing to do with it.
You tried to help us
It already
before.
cost me too much. Yeah?
Wait.
Did he pickpocket him?
was
Because
it
he pickpocketed it,
that
like
you
the whole
taught me?
pickpocket shenanigans.
Might tell you who blew the horn of the let.
I feel like they should keep their veils on in case like
scouting.
London wanders by.
I'm not.
Are you going to marry her? I can see it in the pattern. Well, best run and tell her right away.
But I don't even know her. I just see her in the city centre.
She's gonna kill him.
Suppose she's doing some work on the old Lunaut estate.
Jane Kyder marries that man.
No.
Nah. She kills him.
Come back again. Oh no! Oh fucking man! She has too much power here.
Rand doesn't know what you are. Oh, he does. You know that.
Doesn't know you're torturing Egwene every night. Otherwise, it's very confusing situation, very complicated.
If Rand knew you'd laid your hand,
She's right about that.
he knows everything.
He doesn't, Egwene. Or if you believe her, talk to him about it.
get back in.
Look at me, Egwene.
Oh, she threw them out. It wasn't Egwene.
If you believe you are more powerful than her, then you are. If you
can do
believe she
this.
can't hurt you, she can't. You understand me?
She can get there. It just takes. You need to just. It's practice.
Let's try again.
It's just building.
Do I go mad?
And some of the futures.
Sometimes.
Do I kill Egwene?
Sometimes. Do you?
I do.
I'm really enjoying this conversation, as emotionally fraught as it is.
How do you handle so much of the power when you hold it
What do you mean?
They're having a conversation.
I feel
like
as if it's drowning me.
equals.
I feel as if
I love it.
when I...
Don't submit.
Sidine and Sido are not...
See, if I stopped fighting, and even for a second, I'd be gone. It's just always there.
He's got too much.
Sometimes
to do. He's a fucking groomer. Snap out of it now, Rand.
Don't submit.
Listen to him. I really enjoyed it. It's a stressful conversation, but I really enjoyed it because they were just talking to each other.
She sat me down last year and told me she was a dark friend.
Holy shit.
I'd always idolized her.
I mean, I'm still like mildly concerned that maybe you did say this is a really good cover story for a dark friend. Oh yeah, I was asked to be a dark friend, but I said no. But I do believe her. I think just the part of my brain is suspicious of everybody.
Because I was worried that if I stayed, I might.
Awful.
She killed him.
Fuck.
Her own son.
There's so much darkness in this wildfire. But when I look at you, all I see is light.
Aaron. I'm glad he's finding that again. How are you doing, piece of shit? Just the reinforcements coming because of 2 rivers? What the fuck are you supposed to do? And then the stupid trollocs and whistling man are here.
Our reinforcements.
I mean, the fact that he's wandering around camp with a shovel like that tells you everything you need to know about his mental state.
Oh. Ran into some trouble with some trollocs. Nothing we couldn't handle. Cloak of the 2 rivers.
I almost didn't recognize him.
Help with that.
Like, in the get-up, I genuinely was almost like... When he first got off the horse, I assumed he was just the person. And then he got closer. I was like, he's familiar. Okay, this is an interesting turn of events that terrifies me.
Then, have us a song.
Can she sing? Princesses are probably taught to sing, right? You can do this, Lilane. At least I hope you can sing.
Now he's lost in the hills of Tenchi.
Good job, Ryan. Are we gonna leave, actually? That's my friend. Yeah, this is stressful.
But I don't need any of the Chosen to help me. Because I'm going to become one of them.
So she's not doing anyone's bidding right now, but she's trying to earn her own way up.
I'm not letting you go.
Oh my god. Can they help?
Can you channel?
These sweet babies. Matt would be so proud of you.
But you're a flower bud in your mind.
They stronger together.
Reginald's blood. To blood.
I'm so thankful this is happening. I'm so proud of these little babies. Everything they've lost.
I told you there were channelers in these mountains.
You don't find it strange?
I do. But I don't mind strange.
Good answer.
Never a good time.
Let me go on and on about that light blasted home.
Helen Ibarra.
And this is Tom Marilyn.
He's great.
Old friend.
We love him.
Friend?
Sorry.
I didn't find your collar, but I found the bracelet like the picture you showed me.
Oh my god.
Take this.
Thank you.
Oh my god. Like, someone needs to leave with that and take it somewhere that no one knows about. Like, can they use it with one? Because the picture, it was 2 Aes Sedai, each with the thing, and one. It wasn't like the Damane and the evil enslavers had just one woman, one thing. This was like 2 and 1. So if they need both and we have that, we don't want to take that with us when we go to confront them, because if it goes wrong, we're just going to be hand delivering it to them. We need, like some people, to take that and fucking run for the hills, not of the hills of Tenchico, some other hills, and just take it as far away as possible so that they can't use it.
It used to show 2 women wearing those bracelets.
Thank you
Him
very
on
much,
his
Tom.
knees and the collar around his neck.
Of course, they didn't even know about the 2. I only found out about the 2 earlier.
2 of the 5 the Dark Lord's hunting are in Tanchico.
Oh god. You die in the dream world, you die in real life, right? I mean, that's one less Dark Sister for us, Black Archer for us to worry about.
We don't need anything. Thank you.
No! Oh god.
You've blocked yourself.
Ooh, fuck, she has.
I'm afraid of it. My power. All that power. I hate it, I
She
think.
admitted that to herself. I am stressed. Can I snap out of this somehow? But she's a fucking Forsaken.
And else that Emmeline could trust to find Leander and end the Black Archer.
I hate this
What
so
have you
much.
found out so far? But we'd tell you if we did. Yes.
Oh, I hate this so much.
Have you found out anything else about this bracelet or collar?
No.
Huh.
Oh my god. Part of her is breaking through.
You're fighting me.
Keep doing it, my love. I mean, you can do this. Oh, you did so well, my love.
Ravin wants you dead. My grey men have tried twice and missed. But I like it when he doesn't get what he wants.
They were hunting for her. Is Bravin her stepfather? Yeah, they were hunting for Elaine, I was right.
We should put the bracelet in a safe place.
It's gone, my darlings. You did your best. So basically, if Rand were to say outright no to Lanfear, could she just do that to him? Or is that a specific ability that Mogideon has? Mogideon. I read her name as Mogideon, and that's not how you pronounce it. Mogideon, right? She might kill me if I get anything wrong.
Your fate.
Something happened. Yeah, they need to talk. It's not going to be a good conversation, and I've been waiting for it since last episode. Please talk.
She's a Forsaken.
It's not black and white. It's muddled in his stupid little brain. I love him. I'm not calling him stupid.
For lying to me?
She has every right to be angry.
For betraying my trust? Or for sleeping with a Forsaken? How could you be such a fool?
She's been grooming him for months.
So, I wish you could.
You could try and explain it to her, Rand.
Understand. Every night, you're with her.
He doesn't have a say in that.
I came here for you.
You met the wise ones, and you haven't given me a second thought. That's what you do. And that's what you've always done.
This is going worse than I hoped it would.
Do you love her?
No, it's fucking complicated. I don't believe he actually does, but yes. It's probably his answer. Probably not no.
The madness.
If that's easier for you to swallow, then believe that.
Rand.
You don't want me. Even back in the Two Rivers.
This is my issue with these two, okay? I love them. And I mean, this is now as individuals, not so much even as a couple, because that's no longer a thing. This conversation has been this. They've not engaged, actually. Like, neither of them have been entirely wrong with what they've said. I will say, him being like, if that's what makes it easier to believe, it's not helping anyone, Rand, okay? Like, he didn't try to explain his relationship with Lanfear at all. Explain. And I know he probably doesn't fully comprehend it all, and I definitely don't think he understands just how much he's been groomed and manipulated, because you never do when you're in the situation. But he didn't remotely try and explain anything to her. I will give him that he also didn't try to defend himself. Like, he didn't try to say, oh, actually, you know, since we got back together, I've been saying no to her. It was only last night I said yes. You know, like, kind of, he didn't try to make himself seem better in the scenario, which credit, I suppose, for not sort of, I mean, again, I'm not hating on either of them in this scenario at all. Like, Rand is not currently in the right, but like, I'm not angry at him. I'm very upset in general. But he didn't try to make her understand. He was just like, you can't understand. And that helps nobody if you just assume somebody can't understand. Whereas if you try to explain it and then she was to say, oh, well, you know, like, be black and white about it, that would be different. And then he isn't wrong that Egwene has been someone who, she's ambitious and there's nothing wrong with that. And when she sees something she wants or that can help her, she does jump and hold on to it with both hands. Now, I actually think this comment was less to do with the wise ones as much as, like, yes, it is true, and maybe if she talked to him about it, like, oh, they're helping with my nightmares and my dreams, he'd understand more. But it's definitely that old wound of back in the Two Rivers, they were kids who fell in love and he was dreaming of their entire life together, and so was she, until she was offered something else that meant she couldn't have the life with him, and she just immediately jumped straight headfirst into that, which, again, no hate on her, but he is allowed to be upset about that. I mean, if he hates on her about it, not great, but he's allowed to be upset that this happened. It's just, you know, when, like, one of the reasons I was dreading the scene is because if Rand wasn't snow pure as a dove perfect, people are gonna hate him so much, and it's so undeserved. Like, is he at his best right now? No. But is he the most evil, devilish character, or even just awful? Also, no. He's freaking manipulated, and it's messy, and the Ruidian of it all, and him constantly fighting every step. Like, right now, in the middle of this conversation, he's fighting the madness actively. Like, the struggles he is going through. And, like, I don't fault Egwene either for not being able to understand that, because how can she if he doesn't explain it to her? It's breaking my heart, because this conversation was never going to go well. I never thought it would end with them hugging and being like, everything's fine. But it could have gone so much better than this if they just let each other in that little bit more.
I am the Dragon Reborn. I'm not enough.
I also think, I mean, obviously some of his insecurities are into play here, but this also is just really reminding me of Lanfear's. I may have said Leandrin. Their names begin with L, brain fog. If I did call Lanfear Leandrin at any point, I'm so sorry. And now, like, did I? She makes such a point of constantly whispering in Rand's ear, I accept all of you. Egwene would never accept all of you. I think you're just perfect as you are. I like all of you. She would never do that. And, like, probably the first time she said it, he was like, fuck you. But the more you say that, the more it seeps in and seeps in and seeps in. And, like, you can, the way Rand is acting here, I can see Lanfear's little fingerprints all over it. And this is the gift she sent him, that she wanted him to deal with and not Moiraine, right? She didn't want Moiraine to come in and get involved and help. I don't know how, actually, right now, I don't know that Moiraine could help particularly without explaining the grooming angle, but I don't know how much she understands about that. Like, Rand isn't at his best in this conversation. Neither of them are particularly. Like, she didn't really give him a chance to explain. She was just angry, but then I'm also like, of course she was. I would be the same with what she has. But she hasn't mentioned that Lanfear's been torturing her every night, okay? Because I do think he would react differently to that information. He would be like, I knew, yes, I knew she was a Forsaken who had done a lot of terrible things, but I didn't know she was doing them to you. But everything word out of Rand's mouth, I can see Lanfear's fingerprints on it.
I'll always respect that about you.
And I like that about him, that he sees her. I do believe there is maybe a future where they can make it work, but it wouldn't be a straightforward road.
Did you know
He did not.
what she was doing to me this whole time.
He really didn't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My dreams. It's been her this whole time.
He truly didn't know. He's a manipulated, groomed fool when it comes to Lanfear. But he had no idea. Don't lose control.
I didn't know.
I believe you, okay? Oh, this is the surprise she sent. Oh, goody.
Gotten soft, loose there.
He's fucking not loose Theron. Hell yeah. Holy shit. Hey, Rand, you doing okay? I know your mental health's not too great right now, you know, this attack right on that conversation. Did he kill another Forsaken?
Sarah. She was upstairs.
Oh god. Not a little girl. He doesn't need this. I mean, she doesn't need this either. Oh,
Sarah.
poor little baby.
Oh, Sarah.
You didn't know.
Oh, Sarah.
Life is a dream from which we all must wake.
No. No.
Oh god.
Breathe.
If she's gone, you can't bring her back, right?
She said death can't be healed.
I can do anything!
Oh god. Sweetheart, you can't, alright?
What does the prophecy say? What does the prophecy say?
Oh god.
I bring destruction. But also creation. Breathe on there.
Oh man, I don't know. Is she gonna come back normal if he does this?
Breathe!
Run.
No one could do that. Even if it worked, she wouldn't come back as a little girl, would she? She'd come back as some kind of undead thing. Poor little angel. Do you know what we didn't need right now after that? This. After that conversation, this didn't need to happen.
This is an army.
But we're gonna have to fight
Soon
with
Golden Eyes will
them.
have to lead his people to war.
God,
Whether he
white
wants
clothes.
to or not.
How are the Two Rivers meant to fight a fucking army? They barely managed to fight them off the first time. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Gwaine and Rand because we kind of ended with Gwaine and Rand. I mean, we didn't literally end with them, but that's the conversation that they were so mean, okay? Because that's the conversation I've literally been feeling anxious about all week. Like, my anxiety spiked all week. Genuinely, my anxiety spiked and I was feeling anxious. And, like, there are a couple of other things in my life that I think might be contributing, but genuinely, like, the thing that I nailed it down to was the conversation between Egwene and Rand and how it was going to go was the cause of my anxiety. And, yeah, it went badly. I mean, it didn't go as badly as it could have done, but it also didn't go as well as I would have hoped it would. You know, it was middle towards the bad. Now, I do want to make something very clear that I know I can feel myself when I'm talking about this doing a lot of like defending Rand and less like defending Egwene. And if that is what's happening, it isn't because I dislike her or I'm trying to put her down. I don't think she really did anything wrong. I do defend and support her, but it's because I know how people will respond to this and that response will be very anti-Rand and it won't be anti-Egwene. So like my brain does this thing where if a character is being, in my opinion, disliked unfairly, I get more protective over them. It's happened in so many shows. Like, if there's, I'll go in and I'll be like, I don't necessarily have a favorite, and then I will see the fan response, and the fan response will be that person's annoying and an idiot, and I'm like, oh, so you mean my favorite character's annoying and idiot? Now, I don't yet. Rand isn't my favorite over anybody else. I still do love all these main characters equally because they are all like, and that's not even just me being, I can't pick. I love them all. If I go to like pick a favorite, I start listing through. But I think the character that I'm almost the most protective over is Rand, because not only is he going through so much, but I know the fan response to him will, maybe not from people who've read the books, but from like just show only viewers, will be, oh my god, he's so annoying. Like, he cheated on Egwene, and like, oh, he's so annoying. And when he doesn't respond perfectly to a situation, that doesn't help. Now, of course he doesn't respond perfectly to the situation. He is human. So yeah, that conversation was a freaking mess. Now, obviously, right from the bat, Egwene came in angry and emotional, and so the conversation was never going to be a calm, quiet discussion or an explanation. And of course she came in angry because she has seen her boyfriend making out with someone else, and not just any someone else, but one of the most evil people on the planet, the very people they're running from, who has been torturing her every night, and who has said to her, Ran, like, even when she said, oh, well, if he knew you'd put your hands on me, he wouldn't be with you. And then she's like, well, he did know. Now, obviously, he didn't know that. But from Egwene's point of view, well, he's been with somebody else and hasn't told me about it. He has been with a Forsaken and apparently knew she was a Forsaken and didn't tell me about it. Why wouldn't I then believe the next step? Now, her saying the madness has already got you or begun, it's a little mean in the sense of like, that's like his biggest fear, but at the same time, I get why. I think if I was her, I'd be like, well, how else is this sweet boy who I know, who's kind and good, with a fucking Forsaken? It doesn't make sense. And if you're just viewing it from the facts Egwene knows, it doesn't make sense. You have to understand the months of manipulation and grooming that took place before he knew who she was. That combined with maybe there is a pull from their old soul, like the fact that their souls were once together. I don't know how it works. And the continued grooming and the continued manipulation of it all. And to give him credit, it did seem like up until the last night, in all of these dreams when she was coming and harassing him because she's grooming him and harassing him, he was saying no, and she was like, oh, you just, I love you properly, Egwene does, and he want to kiss me. And I think one time he almost kissed her and she stopped it, but other than that, that last night, the one that Egwene saw, was the first time he let her in, and that was after Ruidian, after seeing her as the person she once was. And the person she once was is probably someone that Rand could fall for and could form a genuine connection with. And so he's got all of this fucking around in his brain, on top of the general stress of being the dragon and the constant fighting off the madness and everything else he's going through, and the constant manipulation, the drip, drip, drip of his manipulation and grooming. It's so uncomfortable to watch, and it's really heartbreaking to see how it's destroying Rand's other relationships. And like, even if I enjoy him and Egwene together, I like the way they respect each other, but I'm also fully aware that like that's not necessarily a relationship that I think will last. I can live in my delulu denial land where like ultimately they'll find a way to be together, but like I don't know. Like, it's like Nynaeve and Lan, I'm like, don't you take them from me, they're gonna be together forever. I can see that, like, I don't think they're gonna like fall for anybody else along the way. But obviously with Egwene and Rand, they are on such divergent paths, and they are so young with it as well. They are still both figuring out who they are and what that means and how they fit into the world, and they both have such an important part to play in the world that I don't know that there's exactly time for them to sort out their relationship issues all the time. But it did frustrate me that Rand didn't. He was like, yeah, I should have told you, I'm sorry about that. And then he just didn't offer her any information about this relationship. He didn't say, well, you should know I met, like, it was during that time when I had given up my entire life because I didn't want to kill everyone I loved, and so I was completely on my own and isolated, and I met this woman, and it started off as just some fun, but, we shared stuff, and it got more serious, and then I found out she was a Forsaken who'd been using me the entire time. But, then in my dreams, she, like, kept coming, and she was nice, and she helped me out a few times, and she keeps saying that she loves me, and that, she sees the true me, including the good parts and the bad parts, and, she's been saying that a lot, and it's dripping into me. And also, she's really powerful, so I don't really know that I could say no. And I don't even know, maybe she's doing some kind of compulsion, like making him like her thing on him. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past her. Like, it's very complicated. And is Rand currently in the right? No, he's not. The fact that he made out with, and probably did more. I just hope Egwene woke up before he did more with Lanfear last night. It's not great. Like, yes, it was in the dream world, but either where the dream world is like consciousness and real, it wasn't good. But, and like, I want to have that conversation with him about how it wasn't okay and like talk him through his life situation right now. But he didn't offer Egwene even the slightest little sliver of an explanation, which I will give him a degree of credit for, because he didn't try to go, oh, I didn't do anything wrong, I'm innocent and perfect, and she's just a mean Forsaken who's been using me. He didn't try to negate his own part in it. He just like apologized and then kind of threw it back on Egwene a little bit. But I feel like she kind of deserved a little bit of an explanation, because it isn't as black and white as it seems. It isn't as black and white as most cases of cheating would be. Like I said, if Lan were to meet an Aiel woman, or the woman who came from oh my god, I know the name where he came, the place he came from. I'm so sorry, my brain fog. Who came from like who came from his kingdom. If he would just randomly shack up with one of them because he was a bit lonely, I would be like, cheating. Like, what? You and Egwene, please don't get with Egwene. You and Nynaeve you're doing good. Like, yeah, you're separated from each other, but I don't believe you've had a discussion about seeing other people when you're apart. Like, what are you doing, sir? Stay in your lane. I would be very disappointed with him. Whereas this situation with Rand is so different to that. It is lengthy grooming and other mental health issues just bundled up in a ball, and it's so flippin' stressful that it kind of hurts me to see Egwene looking at him like that, because I understand why Egwene is doing it. And if I was Egwene, I would be feeling the exact same way. Can't fault her at all for being upset and angry with him, because of course she is. But it's just, as someone that loves Rand and knows what he's going through, and maybe even understands what he's going through more than he does, because I'm on the outside observing and not being groomed, it's so hard to watch. And like, yeah, the bit that I'm really like Randall thought was when he was like, will that make it easier for you? Oh, like, okay, sweetheart, like, we don't need the tone. We really don't need the tone. Now, again, him kind of being like, oh, yeah, maybe I've been with a Forsaken, but you leave me the minute you can. People are going to hate him so much for that. But I think he was kind of, to an extent, they both have just been ignoring the cracks in their relationship since they got back together. Initially, probably because Egwene in particular was incredibly traumatized. Had just been through this incredibly traumatizing experience, and the last thing she really needed was to sit down and hash out a relationship, and what probably would benefit them was just the comfort of someone that loves them. And I do believe they still, even with that fight, love each other and always will. It's just whether life and other things are getting in the way of that relationship. That wound has been there since their conversation in season 1, in the pilot, about her wanting to become a wisdom. He was brought up a few times in season 1. But on the whole, what I've really enjoyed about Rand and their relationship, and what makes me not view him as just a stupid little fuckboy or whatever, like the people that hate him will no doubt think he is the fact that even though he's upset by Egwene's decisions, he respects her for them. And he's like, I love you because you are someone that has an ambition and puts, like, it hurts him, but he still respects it about her. And I think that's very well done, because he's allowed to be upset by these things. Now, if he were to constantly be bitching at her and being horrible to her all the time about it, that wouldn't be great. But he's allowed to say, that hurt me, because it did. I wish he'd done a little bit more explaining about his relationship with Lanfear. So yeah, that whole conversation was a mess, and I just, like, I'm scared to see what people on the internet are saying. Luckily, I don't look at what people on the internet are saying, but my brain, I've been in enough fandoms, I can imagine what they're saying. And like I said, everything was on Facebook. I haven't liked a single Wheel of Time related thing on Facebook, but I was scrolling my timeline and 2 posts jumped out at me, and they both said non-book reader, so I was like, I'm safe, I'm just going to see what it is. And they both were like anti-Rand. Like, oh, one of them was like, oh, he was finally good for 1 episode and now look at him. And I'm like, how are you watching this show and missing so much at the same time? Like, I'm not saying you have to be like, Rand is the best, he's my favorite character, but it would be like watching this show and being like, I hate Moiraine. Moiraine let Lanfear go into their rooms and like terrorize them that time. Moiraine knew that an attack was coming and didn't warn Rand. Like, if maybe people are saying this, I genuinely, the post I saw were just about Rand. Like, maybe that is a response people have, but I think like there is so much nuance to these characters, so much grey area, and so much where, like, yeah, I'm not cheering right now going, Rand, best decisions ever, but I'm also understanding of why he is making said decisions. And I think Egwene also could have handled the situation better, but of course she wasn't going to, because of what she's been through and like what she's just found out. Nobody would handle it better. Like, it would have been unrealistic if she'd walked in and said, hey Rand, sweetie, can we have a little chat? So I think you've not been telling me something and I totally understand it. So like, you would be like, what? is Egwene a real person? It was very hard to watch, in part because knowing people will be hating on Rand, and it's also like I watched this show with a couple of people, and you know, you're like, oh, this is gonna be awkward. Like I'm gonna have to be like checking in on them. Like, have you understood? Have you understood all the nuances here? Don't worry, I will make them understand. So yeah, it was hard to watch in general, because I feel like all of the communication they haven't been doing, they kind of threw at each other, but they also then didn't follow through with the communication. Now, the most pivotal moment of all in a lot of ways was her saying, yeah, all the torture I've been suffering, that was your Lanfear. And I hope she believed him when he said he didn't know. I know it was the truth, but like his reaction was extremely horrified and shocked. I'm not entirely sure whether the initial shaking was him or was the Forsaken arriving. I think the initial shaking was him, like freaking out. But I hope at the very least she does believe him that he didn't know Lanfear was the one torturing her. Like, he didn't. He knew Lanfear has done bad things and is a bad person, and like I want to sit down with them and have a little chit chat about the red flags that he is just swanning past. But you know, he did not know that. And I think he was believable. I hope she believed him. Of course, they got interrupted before they could deal with it, and yeah. I mean, I can't even think about the fact that that little girl just died, okay? Because if I actually think about the fact that little girl just died, I will cry. I just have to, like, I didn't know her. She was in like 2 scenes. It's fine. She had the best squash, okay? And he owes her the toe of harvesting her garden, and now she's dead. Like, I really enjoyed Rand's like little relationship with her, and I should have known he can't have anything nice. Why did I think he could have a nice, cute little relationship with a cute little ideal child? I should have known he can't have anything nice. His mental health, they're like, he's having a really, really bad day. Maybe we should just make it a little bit worse. That poor sweet girl, Sarah, was that her name? She deserves so much better. Now, I think technically Rand killed her. I mean, it's not his fault because he just launched his power and like he was the one that like destroyed the buildings and like crushed the Forsaken. And did he kill Brandon or whatever his name was, one of the Forsaken? Is he dead or did that Forsaken escape? Like, another thing that like, if that's going to be a plot point that's relevant later, let me be not know. But if we're supposed to be like, oh no, he definitely killed him, or oh no, the guy definitely escaped, let me know. If you're still listening, this isn't, I mean, on the unedited version, we're coming up on an hour and a half. I believe it wasn't the Forsaken that killed the little girl, it was Rand, but it wasn't Rand with any intention. It's a sign, yes, that Rand needs to do better at controlling his use of the One Power. He needs to do better at not just letting it consume him and do whatever it wants. And kind of like when he was saying to Moiraine a little bit about don't submit, he needs to not submit to it in those moments. But it's also very difficult because he kind of can't train too much with the One Power, because if he does, it will let more and more of the madness in. So it's a very, very tricky line. And I don't think it was helped by the fact that his mental state was already destroyed by his conversation with Egwene. Both the like difficult conversations they were having, the kind of breakup of it all, and then finding out that Lanfear has been torturing Egwene. And even the fact that Egwene was questioning whether or not he knew about that and was still with Lanfear. Like, you know, all of this kind of in his head, he was not going to be in control right now. But yeah, that was, I mean, oh my god, my brain. It's Yosha, right? You know, like I read actors' names and I'm like, I have watched interviews. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. Phenomenal performance. I mean, he's a brilliant actor. Everyone in the show is brilliant. But like Rand, like when he found her body and that whole scene, absolutely like out of this world brilliant. Like amazing. His desperation to try and save her, and I'm so actually relieved he didn't succeed, because I don't think for a second, even if it had worked, she'd have woken up and been the same little girl. It would have been some half dead version of her, some zombie version of her. It wouldn't have been a good thing. And like those moments where he was kind of bring destruction and laughing and kind of just the absolute desperation of the power, it really does show you how much he's teetering on that edge of madness and how he could very easily fall off of it. And it probably shows you how freaking strong he is that he hasn't teetered over the edge yet, because it's not like he's had it easy. But yeah, that was incredibly stressful and hard to watch. And I think it's very telling that Moiraine was the one who was able to walk forward and kind of stop him, like bring him back. and not Egwene. I feel like earlier in the season, or even in earlier seasons, I mean season 2 she didn't know he was alive until the end, it would have been Egwene reaching for him, but she was still in that kind of understandable shock. I don't know what I'm doing with all of this, what is happening. Whereas Moiraine, I think, having been through Ruidian, yes, they had a very different time in Ruidian, but having experienced that, having, you know, him carrying her out, the conversation they had, which I absolutely loved, she was the one that was able to bring him out and kind of remind him not to submit to it in a lot of ways. So yeah, the conversation between Rand and Moiraine, I know that I'm now jumping backwards in time. I really enjoyed it because I feel like it was the first time they kind of conversed as equals. Now, like, obviously in a lot of ways, Moiraine is more knowledgeable than Rand, she's more experienced than Rand, but in terms of their role in this, like, is in a way, she brings the knowledge and experience, he brings the power and the, like, dragon role, so they kind of equal out, like, what they each lack, they kind of equal out, and I really enjoyed that he just gave her advice and just talked to her, and he kind of just let her in on a bit about how he's doing and how he's feeling, and that can only help her with him. Lan is definitely, like, freaking out a little bit about the whole, Moiraine's gonna die so Rand can live. I am too. Neither of them can die, thank you very much. But I really enjoyed that moment in their conversation, and I think, I'm hoping that has marked a shift. Doesn't mean they're always going to agree, doesn't mean they're always going to be like, yes, you have a great idea, let's do it, we're a team. I'm sure they're still going to clash and have different opinions and ideas, but I did really enjoy that scene. And yeah, in general, this was a stressful freaking episode for Rand. My heart is broken for Egwene because she doesn't deserve any of this either. She hasn't, I don't believe, done anything wrong. You know, like I said, like, she could have handled it better, so could freaking Rand. Both of them could have, and I just wish, you know, I completely understand not telling her about Lanfear when she's just been freed from being, like, enslaved and tortured. But when the months pass, maybe you should let her know. What was kind of interesting was the scene as well between Moiraine and Lanfear, where she was like, I told you to keep her away from him. Because part of me almost wonders if, without Lanfear's interference directly with Moiraine, would Moiraine have told Egwene about Lanfear? Would Moiraine have counselled Rand to? Now, Rand may not have listened to her at this point, but would she have done more to kind of be like, they are walking towards a cliff. They are about to fall off of said cliff. I might try and, you know, let them at least have this conversation before they hit the cliff. Or would she have just been like, well, you know, I've just got to get him to his prophecy point. That's all I'm focusing on. But yeah, it was particularly interesting, that conversation. And Lanfear, the way she was like, oh, are you afraid of me now? Obviously, woman. Everyone is afraid of you. What are you talking about? The minute you showed up, Moiraine didn't sleep for a few days because she was afraid of you. Like, what are you talking? What planet do you live on where you're like, are you afraid of me? Fuck off. I'm sorry, please don't kill me. But she has so much power in the dream world, and if Egwene is going to be able to master it, to control it somehow, would she be able to then go into somebody else's dream and also master it there? But yeah, Lanfear is swanning around. I'm very stressed. Now, it doesn't seem like she is aware of the collar and the bracelets. Like, it doesn't seem like she's up on that plan. It does seem like that is simply Leandrin's plan. Maybe her plan is to or to collar the dragon and then be like, hey, Dark One, want to make me a Forsaken because I got the dragon for you? Like, maybe that's her plan. And I'll get to her in a minute, unless I completely lose my brain and forget, because like I said, there are a lot of characters. But yeah, I think this episode marked a good shift for Moiraine and Rand, I hope. But a bad shift in pretty much every other way with Rand. Now, I will say a scene I vividly remember from the trailer, which is kind of annoying given that it's going to be in the final 2 episodes. Why was it in the trailer if it's in the final 2 episodes? But was Egwene and Rand lying down, I think they kind of fell down, but lying down on one of those Aiel mats next to each other. And I vividly remember being like, they don't look happy that they're together, but at least they're together, because I was too busy being excited that these characters were going to interact. Which would suggest that they're maybe going to go into the dream world together to deal with Lanfear. So we'll see how that goes, what that is. You know, I'm not going to lie about not remembering things from trailers. I remember that very vividly. So yeah, I just want to give Egwene the biggest hug. I want to give Rand the biggest hug. Maybe for now, take them to separate rooms and have private chats with both of them. Some therapy moments with them both, like help them talk it all through. Maybe if they're feeling up to it, they could have a conversation where they talk to each other. And I think a break from their relationship would be good right now. Maybe a permanent break, like, and in general, just like a break from each other. But they can work it out. And even if by the way they can work it out, it doesn't even necessarily have to mean they will continue to be romantic. They could just continue to be in each other's lives. Yeah, stress everywhere we look. Stress. Two of us. Perrin and Fail were very sweet. I'm like 95% sure I can trust her, but you know, anyone that's new, like it took me a long time to be confident I could trust Elaine, I think. Like anyone that joins the show, I'm like, I don't trust you. Now, I do think I believe her, but I also feel like what a brilliant cover story to get close to someone and be like, oh, you know, I had to leave home because my mother was a dark friend and I didn't want to swear the oaths. Because then you're like, oh my god, I trust you 1000%. You had the option to swear the oaths and you didn't. Yes, you're the best. When secretly you're like, ha ha ha, I swore the oaths. Now, I don't think she did. I do think I believe her story. It felt true when she was saying it. I feel like given everything Perrin has been through, it would be really mean to have him fall for a dark friend. And also, given that like Rand had the whole he was with Celine before he knew who she was, maybe like it would be a bit repetitive to have Perrin falling for someone who was on the, I don't think, like on the dark side as well. So I do think I believe her. I do think I believe her story. And I really enjoy her dynamic with Perrin, so I don't want her to be a dark friend. You know, if I didn't enjoy them, I'd be like, please be a dark friend. Sorry, Perrin, but I do enjoy her. I do enjoy the way, from the very first moments we saw them, you could see that she really took notice of him and she saw kind of deep into his soul, it felt like. And in these moments where they shared with each other, he's able to tease her a little bit. Like, I think they've got the beginnings of a very, very good dynamic that I'm excited to see more of. And hopefully that 5% will slowly dwindle away. Now, Matt's sisters being able to channel, I did think it was them. Like I said, last episode we couldn't confirm one way or another. I actually, like, after the episode, I did like rewatch that scene, but they shot it in a way where you couldn't tell. Like one of the things I'm proudest of with the Wheel of Time in terms of me figuring things out was that moment in season 1 when they were in the ways and the Trolloc jumps up on them, and the angle you see is Egwene goes, ah, and like a shield appears, and then just in the corner of the frame you see Rand's hand do that, and I was like, did Rand just channel? I remember going back and watching it again, but Rand just channeled, didn't he? And they did it so well because it's there for you to see if you notice it, and if you don't notice it on a rewatch you'll be like, actually later on in the episode when he's figuring out he's the dragon, or and when it's being confirmed for the audience, we see that again and we see that Egwene put up a shield to protect them and he blasted the Trolloc away. But I noticed that, so like I was like, can I notice something with these girls in this cage? Can I tell who it came from? And I couldn't tell who it came from. But it was the girls, and you know, respect to Natty. She seems like she turned her life around, which makes her death even more tragic. I mean, it would still be sad if she was still a horrible person, but like it's even more tragic that she was doing better. And I hope when Matt hears about it, he's able to take some solace from the fact that his parents turned their lives around. His mother, I mean, his dad's still out there, I presume, like off with Perrin's family and Rand's dad, wherever they are. But that she was a mother to his sisters and she did save them at the end, because the way old blondie bitch was reacting, he might have dragged one of the girls off to that fate. So like she did save them. I found it particularly interesting that when they channeled, they held hands. Now, obviously, they are twins, they are close. I imagine they can both channel individually and separately, but I do wonder whether they're always going to be stronger together or whether they could learn to be independent. I mean, I'm not saying split them up, but I just wonder by that, like, can they only really do it together or would they be able to do it separately? I'm very, very relieved they were able to save Alana, because there was a moment there where I was like, you've already taken Ivan, you were not taking Alana from me as well. So I'm very relieved they were able to save her, and hopefully she and Maxim can begin the healing process now in a way. Like, grief is awful, and kind of almost losing each other, almost losing everything all over again, kind of shakes them a little bit into that kind of beginning to let each other back in. And when they do that, they hopefully can begin to heal. And Lana wants to make an army in the Two Rivers. I mean, I guess there are maybe more channelers here. I mean, technically speaking, there was, you know, Nynaeve and Egwene, extremely powerful. The twins were able to heal Alana on their like second try of using magic. Maybe they've used the one power before, I don't know. But you know, on their like without any real experience, they were able to heal her. Egwene couldn't manage that. Like the first time when she had the whole picture the bud in your mind with Moiraine, she only managed like a little bit, didn't she? no shame on her, but just the girls also seem very powerful, is what I mean. The dragon was here. Now, technically, the dragon wasn't born here, but he was raised here. I don't know, maybe the dragon's presence made some more power stuff happen here. You know, the Wolf Brother of Perrin, the Hornblower, this is a very special location. So there is a chance there is more here, but also right now these are just untrained villagers. The two channelers you just found are children. Like, I'm not seeing the best army ever here, and also I'm not seeing a village that should have to be an army. Though it is also interesting because in at least one, if not two, of Moiraine's Viridian Rings visions, she saw the Two Rivers, and she saw, like, Rand being the Lord of the Two Rivers or whatever, but she saw the Two Rivers being a force. So it's definitely got a part to play. Alana is not wrong there. And right now, there are White Cloaks coming to get them, led by fucking Padden Fane, along with an army of Trollocs. Like, is this going to be a scenario where we're going to have to work with Blonde Bitch and Valda to fight off the Trollocs? If they realise that, like, they've been infiltrated? I don't want to. I don't want to work with them. I mean, wouldn't be, if we could work with them and then, you know, kill Valda and imprison Blonde Bitch, that's fine by me. But I'm stressed because yes, the Two Rivers isn't definitely going to be a stronger town than it was 2-3 years ago when the Trolloc attack first happened, because they survived that, they've survived subsequent Trollocs around. And I think in general, when your town is attacked out of the blue and you go from this being a safe place to a place where Trollocs come out of the woods and murder you and your family, you're going to get better. You're going to be like, well, I need to learn to fight so that the next time it comes, they don't get my brother. So the next time it comes, I'm able to defend my family. Like, you're going to learn to fight more than you would have done before. So hopefully they'll be able to fight. I just feel like Trollocs and trained soldiers stresses me out. And are there any wolves in the area? Obviously we saw the White Cloaks, they'd killed some wolves, and some wolves followed Perrin, I think, but like, are there any wolves? He hasn't bonded. I mean, I don't want to replace Hopper, but I feel like we could use some wolves, but then I don't want the wolves to die. Stress. So yeah, Two Rivers, stressful. This episode, not overly stressful, but more just preparing for the future stress. Then we go to Tanchico, which is a hellish place, my lord. Worst place ever. I saw like a interview thing on Amazon, and I assumed there wouldn't be on YouTube, and I assumed there wouldn't be any spoilers in it because they were putting it out now. And oh, I know the name of all the actors in this show. Elaine's actress, I'm sorry, I do know her name, was like, oh yeah, the place I'd most like to visit is Tanchico. Excuse me, are you feeling okay? Have you filmed the scenes there? I mean, I guess, like, she had a good time in the tavern, but, like, it's a very bad place. But it was absolutely fascinating, every aspect of it. Both from, like, as much as I am, like, that's a hellish place, it's awful. The idea of that kind of culture, and it apparently being, like, close to Farn, which seemed like a relatively ordinary city before the siege came. Like, it's awful. And then when you think that places like the White Tower, the Kingdom of Andor, I don't know whether this city is technically in Andor or not, but like these places, these powerful places with these strong women leaders, just let Tanchico exist like this, with this abuse of children and women. So starting off with Leandrin. Now, she is a fascinating character, and you know, I don't hate her as much as I did hate her. Knowing that she swore her oaths, I presume, as as that young traumatized child, I do feel extreme sympathy for her, and for the girl she was. But I still don't think it excuses the subsequent choices all the way up into adulthood. Like, yes, it maybe shaped her, but other people go through things like what she went through and don't end up making the same choices and hurting other people. You know, she was absolutely fine. As much as she's somebody who she believes in the sisters and she wants to help other women, she's still like, I'll go kill that one if I'm ordered to. Like, she's not good. She's fascinating, and I like that she's not black and white evil. Like, especially because she was almost like, I remember when I was watching this season 2 with my mum, and it was like in the beginning there was they revealed that Anna Aes Sedai was a dark friend, and my mum was like, well, if it's Leandrin, that's going to be a little bit obvious. And I was like, but I like that even though she was the most obvious candidate to be evil, there's nuance to it. She isn't as black and white evil as she once seemed. Though I still hold her accountable for the choices she has made as an adult since then. Like, she's over 100 years old. She should be making better choices. But I find it particularly interesting that she pretends subservience to Lanfear because she kind of has no choice. But ultimately, she's trying to make a play for becoming a Forsaken herself. And to be honest, why shouldn't she? Why should just some people from back then get to get all that power and influence? Why shouldn't people now get the same options? Equal opportunity evil, I say. And I would presume getting a collar and on the dragon and getting him under your control would probably impress the Dark One. You know, wasn't it oh, Dana said in season 1 that like the last person that gave the dragon to the Dark One became a Fossett, became a chosen, and we all know his name is Shamiel, and this time it's gonna be me. This time you're getting a sword through the throat. But I think she probably would get rewarded in that way. But I also don't know that that power would be all she wanted it to be. I don't think it would fix the things she thinks it will. And, you know, I would like to think someone who had a sympathetic beginning would realise her mistakes and try and do different, but nope, does not appear to be that. Now, what's particularly interesting, though, is this whole, the chained man or whatever, and that there are 2 women with these bracelets. It's not one woman with both bracelets, it is 2 women. Would that mean Leandrin would have to trust somebody else to wield the other one? Would they have to agree? Could one of them be like, hey, person, go cast a spell over, go cast a spell, what show am I watching? But you know, like, go destroy that thing over there. And the other woman, hey no, go destroy that thing over there. Would they be able, would what would happen? Like, do they have to be in agreement with each other? For everyone who wants to use this, or could one woman wear both if she was powerful enough? I guess if they ever get their hands on all of the pieces and then have Rand in their sights, we'll find out the answer, but I don't want the answer if that's how we're going to find it out. And similarly, if Moghedien she's got a bracelet, if she gets her hand on the rest, will she need to work with another person, or would she, as a Forsaken with all the power she has, be able to just use the one bracelet on him or wear both? Or if she were to end up with a bracelet on and like Egwene was to end up with a bracelet on, would like whoever was nearest work? Like how would it work? I don't want to know these answers because I feel like the only way I will know these answers is if it happens, and I don't want it to happen. But you know, it's like, maybe someone could find a textbook and read the textbook aloud, and that could explain it to me. So yeah, Leandrin is fascinating and stressful. Moghedien is terrifying. Like, the way she just swaned into that room and just took them over. Horrifying, because how easy it was. And, you know, as strong as Nynaeve, like, is, and we know she is more powerful than Elaine, no shame on Elaine, even Nynaeve, there was that moment where I was wondering, is she going to break through? And she almost did. Her smile got really strained, and she didn't give it, and then she did. And then she was back to simpering and giggling, and it does make me wonder if Nynaeve were to not have that block in place, would she have been able to overwhelm it? Like, if she's able to deal with that block, confront it, get rid of it, trust herself and embrace the power, would she then be strong enough? But because she's holding back her power, it wasn't able to help her, because we need it, okay? This can't keep happening. And it does make me think, is this something specific to Moghedien, or is this something that any Forsaken could do because they have that level of power? Because yeah, definitely, like, if this is kind of in general, I mean in the dream world in particular, like, there's definitely a situation with Rand where he can't really say no. I'm not entirely sure right now he wants to, but like, he can't really, like, if she were to put her mind to it, he wouldn't be able to stop her at the moment. But yeah, it's stressful. But yeah, that scene was so uncomfortable to watch because both of them were so unlike themselves. It's not even like she'd controlled Elaine and Nynaeve and they were just acting like they supported her and she was like their best friend and they wanted to do everything she said. They were acting like their brains had been taken over by a pod person. Like, neither of them does that kind of that neither of their characters is like that, even with the people they like and respect. It was really uncomfortable to watch, and to know that she just swan into that room and did it, and they didn't even have a moment's hesitation or fighting back. Like, Nynaeve eventually did, and I do think maybe with her power unblocked, she might be able to do it more strongly. But yeah, that was horrifying to watch. And then we're going to kind of go slightly back in time to earlier in the episode. Now, I'm glad Nynaeve had her, like, drinky, unwinding time, but I'm also like, this is not a time and place. I'm all for you relaxing, but in freaking Tanchico, of all places, when the Black Arja are lurking, what are you doing, Min? I did enjoy their conversation talking about it, and, you know, Min's way of finding out where they were, and then being like, oh no, she kills him. They figured out where the Black Aja are. The Black Aja know where the collar is, and they have one of the bracelets. Mugdian now has the other bracelet. I knew them getting that bracelet was too good to be true. That's why I said, take it and run to the hills. Somebody needs to take that bracelet and leave and go and either never be heard from again or go bury it in some random hole in the middle of a field in... I can't think of another place name. Tyr. I know we're heading to Tyr at some point, I imagine, but that's a place name. Like in a random field in Tyr that you don't even remember which field it is, and bury it there. Okay? Then even if someone finds it, they won't know what it is. Don't bring it with you because... I mean, also, them splitting up wouldn't be the best either because they're already really low in number. Now, Tom Gleeman. Now, I will say I had my little suspicions we would be seeing him again because people were very excited about him in my season 1 reactions. It's not a spoiler because, like, I didn't know when or how. And also, I'm pretty sure in some of the season 1 behind the scenes stuff, they bigged him up as well. And they talked about what a brilliant character he was. And I was like, he was in 2 episodes. I mean, he was great, but he was in 2 episodes. You're talking about him like he's a substantial role. So I'm glad we saw him again because I had been thinking, when's it gonna come? So when they were singing and Matt was like, I was like, that sounds like him. I think it's fascinating that, you know, the first time we met him, he was kind of immediately offering Matt and Rand advice. You know, even like his pickpocketing thing was being a dick. I mean, I know he pickpocketed the pickpocket and then wouldn't give it back, but like he was being a dick with it, but he was teaching them a life lesson. And then when he found Matt with the Aiel going to rob the body, he didn't need to be as kind about that as he and understanding about that as he did, but instead he was not only understanding, but he kind of taught Matt some lessons as well. And then when there was a dark friend after them, he freaking helped them escape. And then, you know, his thing with Rand about how, like, if he's learning to channel, we're going to have to protect him and keep him away from the Aes Sedai. They're going to gentle him and they're going to want to kill himself. Like, he was really looking out for these 2 random boys he just met on the road. And I think it's really fascinating to see the way the Fade altercation completely changed that. I mean, not completely, but you know what I mean? Like, he, to the point where he saw Matt and his response was, nope, I'm out of here. Not me, you don't know me, we're not doing this. And I think that shows you just how frightening the Fades are. It does make me wonder how he survived. Like, how did he escape the Fade? All I can think is that maybe after a little bit, the Fade was like, wait a minute, I don't care about you. The people I'm hunting are gone. And by that point, it didn't manage to track down Matt and Rand, and it left him alive because otherwise, why is he alive? And then the whole thing of like, you don't know what it cost me. What did it cost him? Like, does he have some awful scarring or something? Even if it's just mental scars, I'm not downplaying that, but like, did you swear an oath to the Dark One? I really hope not, because I like you, and I don't think you would have done, but maybe to save your life, I wouldn't be like you're, you know, if someone swears an oath with a knife at their throat, I'm not going to hold it against them. If they then continue to do things and hurt people as a result of that oath, that's when the judgment comes in. But yeah, I heard so much. My brain can't process right now. What was I even saying? Tom. Yeah, what did it cost him? What did he lose? But what I think shows you that it hasn't completely changed who he is the fact that when Elaine was in trouble, he jumped in there and helped. Like, he didn't hesitate. Like, he was like, wait a minute, what is the daughter of Andor doing here? And then there was a knife at her throat, people who recognized her, and he was straight in there being the hero. Matt didn't even have a chance to try and think on his feet to figure out a way to help because Tom was in there. And I think that shows you that he still is the same person we met in the mining town. My brain fog is not good today. Like, my CFS, my head has been a little, ooh, I'm on another planet today, so I hope this reaction's been okay. But he jumps straight in there to help, and of course she can sing, and, you know, I imagine she would learn random songs because she's bored, and also because she dreams of being normal and dreams of being free and of being able to make the choices and become a Gleeman if she wants to. And so I did enjoy that. And Matt's, that's my friend. Never change, Matt, okay? Never change. But also, Matt, if you're walking somewhere and your girlfriend's walking behind you, your wife, please don't turn around. Okay? Sorry, completely off topic, but you know. He sang a little bit, and it, even though he wasn't singing in his Irish accent, it still reminded me, okay? Hadestown's so great. So yeah, it was good to see Elaine let loose a little bit, and Nynaeve, as much as I'm like, this isn't the time or place for letting loose. Now obviously, well, we know Mogadea knows where they are because she fucking showed up, but Leandrin also knows where they are, because I imagine the one that Mogadea killed, I can't say that woman's name, I'm so sorry, is, she had told Leandrin where she was, maybe where they were, maybe she hadn't. But Leandrin knows where the collar is. They know where Leandrin is. Leandrin possibly knows where they are. Mogadea definitely knows where they are. I will say, my brain, I'm not entirely sure which Forsaken. I mentioned this earlier. Which Forsaken it was that was attacking Rand and Egwene. Was it Elaine's stepfather one, or was it the other guy? Because it was one we'd seen before, right? I can't place him. So could you actually let me know which one it was? And like they were saying that name, and my brain cannot quite place it yet. The name, I'm not sure. So if you, I'm not of this, the unedited version, we're almost at 2 hours. I'm so sorry. I mean, I hope you're enjoying this. But please do let me know if you've watched this far, which one it was. But I don't think that's a spoiler, because it's just my brain did not pick up that it was dark in that one scene when we saw them all. Okay. But yeah, so like, too many people know these things. This little cluster of Black Aja have attracted multiple Forsakens, just like Lanfear knew it would. But yeah, they did some good reconnaissance. But I'm also just like, I understand that like Siuan can't trust anyone but them. I understand the needing to keep numbers small. But I'm also like, there are, as far as you know, there are 5 members of the Black Aja. You've got 2 channelers and a hornblower without a horn and a seer. What are you supposed to do? And a gleeman now. It's down to 3 members of the Black Aja, but still, I'm just freaking stressed. Now there definitely will be at least 1, if not more, members of the Black Aja in the White Tower still, but so calling for reinforcements would be a struggle, but it's just really stressful. So I enjoyed seeing them let their hair down, even though I was like, this isn't the time or the place. Tenchiko is evil, and there are Black Aja here, and like they were spotted. And then you add into it like Mogadea just strolling around, stealing bracelets and brainwashing people, and just everything was terrible. And yeah, I remembered something else that I wanted to say, and it's not too late. I can add this into the edited version of my reaction, and that is Nynaeve and the block. I mentioned that with Mogadea. Her like bringing up like, why are you blocked, and using the word blocked, and then Nynaeve, because she was under this compulsion to just speak fully truthfully, and I think she was even saying something that maybe she hasn't consciously thought, subconsciously yes, but consciously no, of her being like, I'm afraid of it, it's too much power, it's overwhelming to me, or like it's too much power, I'm afraid of it. It was such a twisted way for us to get an insight into Nynaeve and what is blocking her and what has been blocking her all this time. It is along the lines of what we were thinking. It's not like, oh my god, that's totally new. But to get this kind of confirmation of what the problem is, but also for her to not remember the realization of it, so that it won't help her in any way. It's just devastating, but also just thank you that we finally got confirmation of what the problem is, but at the same time just but it also gives me hope, because I trust that Nynaeve can learn to embrace her power, can learn to embrace this part of herself, even if it's something she never thought would be, even if it changes her, the way she sees herself. She can learn, she can realize it. And I think her motivation might even be realizing that the world needs her, the people she loves need her to embrace this power, and her running from it puts them in danger as well as herself. Though I do hope she also finds it motivates, she also does it for herself, for her own strength and power. But yeah, I remember I needed to add that in. It has almost been 2 hours. My brain is starting to like, I feel like I'm losing steam in like the cohesiveness of my thoughts and the usefulness of my thoughts. So if I have missed any characters, or I definitely don't think I talked about the Tenchiko bunch as eloquently as I wanted to, but yeah, I absolutely adore this show. It makes me sad there are only 2 weeks left. Like, how on earth are there only 2 episodes left? Announce season 4 already, please. But yeah, phenomenal show as always, devastating show as always, acting out of this world as always. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.